Meditate. An excerpt from A Guide for Aging Heroes by Randolph Harrison with Erica Schwarting Harrison. When you're a kid, you lay in the grass and watch the clouds go overhead, and you don't have a thought in your mind. It's purely meditation, and we lose that. Dick Van Dyke. I have heard sailing described as 90% boring and 10% terrifying. I have to disagree with that. I think sailing is 90% meditative and 10% terrifying. Meditation isn't strange or mystical, and it doesn't have to be religious. Humans and animals meditate all the time naturally. Our Labrador Retriever Keel spends much of his time in a meditative state. He lays there for long periods, relaxed, sometimes with his eyes open, sometimes with his eyes closed, but he is not asleep. If a dog barks in the neighborhood, a door slams outside, or someone walks up the front stairs, he springs to his feet perfectly alert. When Keel is sleeping, he is slow to awaken and generally needs a good stretch before he gets going. Have you ever driven on a long trip alone without a radio? If so, you may have found yourself so lost in thought that time passed without your awareness. You may have thought to yourself, "Who's been driving for the past 2 hours?" This is an example of a meditative experience. Any extended, uninterrupted, repetitive behavior may create a meditative state. Knitting, mowing the lawn, weeding a garden, operating a tractor, and even washing dishes or folding laundry can all trigger meditative, self-transcendent flow states. Self-transcendence is a shift from the typical conscious state of duality to one of flow. Duality comes from the word dual, which just means two. In ordinary consciousness, you experience two things: you and everything that is not you. Self-transcendence means switching from experiencing you in relation to all the other things to a state where everything merges into the flow of experience. You disappear into the experience. Instead of you knitting, there's just knitting. Instead of you weeding, there is just weeding. When you first learned to drive a car, you were keenly aware of yourself in relation to the many actions and objects involved in the process of driving. There was you in relation to the gas pedal, you in relation to the steering wheel, you in relation to the other cars on the road, you in relation to the traffic lights. However, once you became an experienced driver and took that long trip without the radio, you faded into the experience of driving. Instead of you driving the car, there was just driving. You and your experience were no longer separate. You were self-transcendent. The stress response is the most extreme experience of duality. Stress is when the self feels threatened by something that is not the self. It is the polar opposite of the self-transcendent flow state that occurs in meditation. So it should not be surprising that meditation is an effective tool for combating all emotional, cognitive, and physical health problems caused by stress. Meditation is a proven stress reducer with numerous emotional and physical health benefits. Meditation has been found to decrease anxiety even in people with clinical anxiety disorders. It improves attention and concentration while enhancing self-awareness by helping you better understand your own thought and behavior processes. Meditation can improve memory, relieve depression and anxiety, slow down the aging process, decrease cardiovascular disease, decrease obesity, decrease diabetes, and it may even extend life. In one experiment, meditators and non-meditators were connected to biofeedback equipment and shown a typical action movie. As the excitement in the film reached its crescendo, both groups showed signs of fight or flight arousal. Heart rates increased, blood pressures increased, sweating increased, etc. The differences came when the exciting peak of the movie was over. When the excitement ended, the meditators' biosigns returned to normal, while the non-meditators remained aroused. Meditation connected its practitioners to the present moment, allowing their fight or flight responses to operate in a healthy manner.